Most people try to break bad habits the wrong way. They attack themselves with force. They rely on motivation. They wait for a perfect Monday, a new year, or a sudden burst of discipline. And when they fail, they say, "I'm weak." Japan teaches a different truth. The problem is not who you are. The problem is how you change. In Japan, there is a philosophy older than motivation and stronger than willpower. It is called Kaizen, continuous improvement. Kaizen does not demand transformation overnight. It demands one small improvement today, because real change does not come from heroic effort. It comes from quiet consistency. A bad habit is not a monster. It is a routine that has been repeated long enough to feel permanent. Kaizen breaks habits not by fighting them, but by shrinking them. If you smoke 10 cigarettes a day, Kaizen does not say quit. It says smoke 9, tomorrow 8. No drama, no self-hate, just progress. If you waste hours scrolling, Kaizen does not demand discipline. It asks for 5 minutes less today. That's it. Small enough to succeed, simple enough to repeat, powerful enough to compound. The Japanese understand something the modern world forgets. Consistency beats intensity. A river does not break a mountain by force. It breaks it by showing up every day. Bad habits survive on overwhelm. Kaizen kills them with simplicity. Every small win rewires your brain. Every tiny improvement builds trust with yourself. And trust is the foundation of discipline. Kaizen also removes the fear of failure, because when the goal is small, failure loses its power. Miss one day, you return the next. No guilt, no restarting your life. Just continue. That is the secret. Not perfection, not motivation, continuation. Over weeks, small changes become identity. You don't try anymore. You simply become the kind of person who lives differently. This is how Japan rebuilt industries. This is how masters are made. This is how bad habits die quietly. Not with a battle, but with patience. If you want to break any bad habit, stop asking for strength. Ask for one small step, then repeat it every day, forever. That is Kaizen. Big change fails, small change wins. Most people fail to break bad habits because they aim too high too fast. They wake up one day and decide to completely change their life. They want to quit smoking forever, wake up at 5 a.m., eat perfectly, and stay disciplined every single day. This approach feels powerful at first, but it collapses quickly. The human brain is not designed for sudden extreme change. It resists it. That resistance becomes stress, frustration, and eventually relapse. Kaizen teaches the opposite approach. Instead of massive change, it focuses on small, manageable improvements. Improvements so small that your brain does not feel threatened. When a change feels easy, you don't fight it. When you don't fight it, you repeat it. And repetition is what creates real transformation. Breaking a bad habit does not require force. It requires strategy. Kaizen understands that habits are built over time, and they are best destroyed the same way. 1% better today, one small step forward. That is enough. Because small progress does not trigger fear, but it builds momentum, and momentum, once created, becomes unstoppable. Consistency is more powerful than motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. Some days you feel inspired, some days you feel empty. If your success depends on motivation, you will fail sooner or later. This is why most people return to their bad habits. They wait to feel ready, and when that feeling disappears, so does their discipline. Kaizen does not depend on motivation. It depends on consistency. Even on bad days, even when you feel tired, even when you feel nothing at all. The Japanese philosophy understands that discipline is not an emotion, it is a system. A small action done daily is more powerful than a big action done once. 5 minutes of improvement every day will beat 5 hours of effort once a month. Why? Because the brain learns through repetition. The body adapts through repetition. Identity is formed through repetition. When you act consistently, you send a message to your brain, this is who I am now. Over time, the habit loses its grip, not because you fought it, but because you replaced it with a new routine. Kaizen proves that showing up daily, even imperfectly, is the real secret to change. Kaizen removes fear and overwhelm. One of the biggest reasons bad habits survive is fear. Fear of failure, fear of commitment, fear of never being perfect. When the goal feels too big, the mind shuts down. Overwhelm creates paralysis, and paralysis keeps people trapped in the same destructive patterns. Kaizen removes this fear by making change feel safe. The goal is not perfection, the goal is progress. Even the smallest progress counts. When the expectation is small, failure loses its power. You stop being afraid of starting because the cost of failing is low. Miss one day? Kaizen says continue tomorrow. Not restart, not punish yourself, just continue. This mindset keeps you moving forward without guilt or self-hate, and guilt is one of the strongest triggers for bad habits. By lowering the pressure, Kaizen increases success. You no longer feel like you are fighting yourself. You are working with your nature, not against it. Over time, fear fades, confidence grows, and the habit weakens, not through force, but through patience. Small wins rewire the brain. Every small action you take sends a signal to your brain. When you succeed at a small task, your brain releases confidence. When you repeat that success, your brain starts to trust you. This trust is critical. Most people fail because they don't trust themselves anymore. Kaizen rebuilds self-trust through small wins. These wins may look insignificant, but they are powerful. 1 less cigarette, 5 minutes less scrolling, 1 glass of water instead of soda. Each small victory proves that change is possible. The brain is a learning machine. It responds to evidence, not promises. Kaizen provides daily evidence that you are capable of control. As these small wins stack up, your identity begins to shift. You no longer see yourself as someone who is trying to quit. You become someone who is already changing. This is how habits truly die, not by willpower, but by identity transformation. When your brain accepts a new identity, the old habit no longer fits. Kaizen turns discipline into identity and identity into freedom. Kaizen is a lifetime philosophy, not a temporary fix. Most people treat self-improvement as a short-term project, a challenge, a 30-day plan, a quick fix. When the challenge ends, the habit returns. Kaizen rejects this mindset completely. It is not a program, it is a way of living. Kaizen is about continuous improvement for life. There is no finish line, no final version of yourself, only steady growth. This mindset removes pressure and creates peace. You are not racing, you are evolving. When you apply Kaizen, you stop asking, how fast can I change, and start asking, how long can I stay consistent? This shift changes everything. Bad habits cannot survive in an environment of steady improvement. They slowly lose relevance. Kaizen teaches patience, humility, and persistence. It reminds you that greatness is built quietly, not dramatically. And in a world addicted to instant results, this philosophy gives you a permanent advantage. This is the Japanese system. This is how bad habits end. Not loudly,